My name is John Burras, and thank you for watching this short video today. This video is called The Energetics of Fascia. I am so excited to present this information to you. This is like combining East and West all together. And this is some of the most important information going forward in our leading edge discovery of who we are as a people, our own anatomy, and our own being in the world. In this video, I'll share with you how the fascia in the body is the pathway to the life force or chi that runs through the body. And when you keep your fascia healthy, your body is healthy because you have life force or chi running through it. I'll explore some of the ways we clog our chi up, we block it from flowing, where the body stops generating chi and it starts to wear down and its life force diminishes. So in this video, I hope to share with you this great information that as we go forward, you'll be able to have a healthier, happier, and more alive body along the journey. So let's begin. Much of what I present to you today is not taught in medical schools, it's not taught in massage schools, it's not taught in yoga trainings, it's not taught in physical therapy schools. This is leading edge information that will set your life on fire once you understand the importance of the fascia and how the energy travels through it. So in our current culture, at least in the Western world and America, this topic is off limits. It's not studied. If you talk to a doctor about fascia and energy, they would roll their eyes and go, I have no idea what you're talking about. So it's one of the most important things we could be talking about, and it's one of the most important things that we should be discussing in all schools and all trainings, but unfortunately we're not. So today I'm going to give you all these insights about how to help your body, make your body healthier and happier and whatnot. So basically, a little recap here. If you haven't watched my videos on fascia, fascia is one of the largest parts of the body, and it's also the largest organ in the body. The fascia is the material that wraps around and contains, and it basically shapes who we are. In the medical world, it's basically waste product. When they do a surgery, a surgeon does a surgery, he cuts out the fascia and dumps it on a tray and they throw it away. Okay? But in my world, as a body worker, yoga teacher, and anatomy adventurer, it's the most important part of the entire body. In the medical world, they throw it away. It's called waste material. So we're going to show you how the fascia in the body is probably the most important part of our own anatomy, and for thousands of years we've missed it. It's been there right in front of us, and we've missed it because we were studying muscle and organs, and we've missed the fascia. And the fascia is what contains the chi or the life force in our human body. So let me show you a picture here. And here's a picture of an orange cut open. So you see the orange part, that would be the muscle in the body, and the white part, it would be the fascia in the body. The fascia is the part that contains and wraps around everything, and it keeps everything intact. So our bodies are not much different than this orange itself. If we were to look at a piece of meat, all the white fibers would be the fascia. So this could be a human body, this could be an animal. And all the white fibers are what contains everything, and it envelopes everything, and it keeps everything intact. So that's the fascia we're talking about. That's what the chi flows through. The life force of the body flows through the chi, through the fascia of the body, which would be the white fibers. So it's important to recognize that fascia goes everywhere in the body. It's not just randomly in one place. It goes from the tips of your toes to the top of your head. And fascia becomes a transport network for the chi in the body, or the life force energy. And we'll get to that in just a second. So let's just get a little more clarity on fascia. For example, fascia wraps around bones. So think about fascia like this saran wrap. It becomes a periosteum. So all your bones are wrapped in fascia. And so it travels all the way up and down your body. For example, in your spine here, it's all wrapped in fascia. And fascia runs up and down the body like this saran wrap. So I like to think about it as the muscles are a bunch of fibers. They're called myofibrils. They're all these little fibers of muscle tissue, and each one of them is wrapped in fascia. And they're all wrapped together, and they're all bundled together, and they're bundled up, and they become a myofascia unit in a way. But each little motor, muscle motor, is wrapped in fascia. So fascia surrounds and envelopes your entire muscular system. The way I like to look at here is this if these are the muscle fibers here, they're all hundreds or thousands of them to become a bicep or a tricep, they're all wrapped in fascia, this white fiber stuff. And that's what we're talking about here. The fascia wraps everything up. So also what fascia does, it holds us upright. We're not a series of blocks. We're not a column that needs to be held up by bones. This is not who we are. We're a series of cables and pulleys, the fascia network. It's called tensegrity, that pulls in all directions. That's the fascia, pulling here and pulling there and pulling there. And that's actually what holds us up, not our bones. So your spine doesn't hold you up. It's the fascia in the body that holds you up. And that's where this work becomes different than what you'll see in a medical school, for example. So let's say here's your leg. Your leg is wrapped in fascia. All the way up and down, the fascia is wrapping the leg in and out. And if you have a knee problem, you probably have a fascia problem that's causing a twist or a torque in it. And so the fascia goes through your entire body, and it wraps here and there, and it basically is one of the largest tissues we have. And we've completely ignored it for all this time. So that's pretty much a recap of what is fascia. So now we need to talk about what is chi, what is life force energy. This is the concept that comes to us from Eastern cultures like China. And for example, when you have an acupuncturist who sticks a needle in a part of the body, he or she is opening up the chi channel. So if you open up the chi channel, you can affect an organ or gland by opening up the channel of chi. The concept being the fascia is this network of meridians and channels to the body, that if you can open it up with a needle, you can affect organs and glands, your brain, your heart, your liver, your kidneys, and whatnot. So it symbolizes this force called chi. Now, we don't understand it in the Western culture so much. The best we can do is say it's electrical. Well, it's really not electrical, but it's kind of like an electrical system. For example, it's kind of like electricity moving through your body, but it's not electricity. It's chi or life force. It's really important because it keeps us alive. It keeps us energized. It feeds our cells. It feeds our breath. But we're not studied in Western culture. It's this force, life force energy. And it moves through the fascia when the fascia is healthy. And that's what we need to get to next, is what happens to our fascia that creates unhealthy fascia. So just like an electrical system, the current needs voltage, it needs force. So in a fascia system, when the fascia becomes dried out and weakened and glued together, it loses its ability to transport chi. So it's just like an electric cord, for example. If it loses its copper or its insulation, it may not transport the electricity through it. When our fascia becomes dried out, brittle, fused together, it's called hydrogen bonding, it loses its ability to transport chi or life force. And this is how most people age. They feel tired, they feel old, they feel sick, because their fascia is so dried out that it's not transporting chi through it or life force energy. And that's mostly how people age. So fascia requires a certain amount of force to move through it. Fascia needs to be liquid and soft, and it needs to be in a healthy state in order to do that. Most of what we're doing in our cultures is killing our fascia. We're either doing it deliberately or through ignorance, not understanding the fascia network at all. In my opinion, we're focusing on muscle and not focusing on the most important part of the body, which is the fascia itself, or the life force of the body. So we'll talk about a little bit about that. One way to think about fascia is like this map of a new town. When the engineers build a new town, they put in the roadways first, and they put in the electrical system first, and the plumbings and the sewage systems, and then they build around it. They put in a church and a school and a supermarket and all the other homes around it. But the roads go in first. Well, that's be the fascia in the body. The fascia is what lays down the pathway for everything else to go. The fascia, when we're developing in the womb, becomes the pathway for the chi to flow, and it tells everything else where it belongs. And here's a picture of somebody who practices the fitness model of tightening, hardening their body. Unfortunately, this is another roadblock to healthy fascia and healthy chi, because when you shorten your muscles, like in strength training, you dry out the body, you dry out the fascia, and dried fascia does not allow chi to run through it. So somebody who has either a job with lots of manual labor or lots of stress in their life, they're drying out their fascia, and their fascia can no longer transport the chi. So I don't recommend that lifestyle at all. And here's a picture of a yoga body. You can see the energy lines across the arm. Where you're doing yoga, you're energizing the body, you're getting strength, but you're also keeping the fascia liquid and healthy, which is allowing the chi and the life force energy to move through it. Quite a different body as you age, where you're allowing the fascia to be healthy, stay in a liquid state and not dried out, and the life force is moving through the body and not being blocked by the hard tissues in the muscle. So it's important to remember, for chi to flow through the body, the fascia needs to be healthy, which means liquid, soft, and fluid. Most of what we're doing in our culture is doing the exact opposite. For example, if you have a manual labor job, your body's hardening, tightening, stiffening, drying out. You practice a lot of fitness, your body is hardening, tightening, drying out. If you're under a lot of stress, stress is going to harden, tighten, dry you out. If you're emotionally depressed, you're holding your emotions inside. Your body and your fascia are hardening, tightening, drying out. So these are ways that the body is destroyed because the fascia starts to dry out, and we call it aging. It's not aging. So if this is a classic example of, for example, somebody who's under a lot of stress. This would be the spot between their shoulder blades. And it's supposed to be fluid. All these layers of fascia are supposed to move independently. And there's supposed to be chi flowing through all the different spots. And the chi is supposed to move up and down the spine and in and out through the arms and shoulders up to the head. However, what happens is we get a blockage and it stops flowing. All of a sudden, because we call this an energy cyst, the fascia is hard, tight, dried out, and glued together. The chi stops flowing. It stops flowing. There's no juice. There's no life force moving through your shoulder blades. It's dying because you've glued yourself together because of what you're doing in your life. So when the chi stops flowing, that's not a good thing. All kinds of other things start happening. So when you get a blockage, when your fascia is hard, dried out, and fused together, the chi will stop flowing. It stops. It doesn't move through it because it can't. There's no life force there. There's no pathway to get through that area. So once again, fascia and chi, or life force, are not necessarily something that the Western scientific medical community either studies or believes in. But there are a couple of Western scientists who have some input on this. And let me share you with some of their insights. It was Dr. Robert Becker in The Body Electric who demonstrated in the 1960s the ability of fascia to transport chi. Dr. Becker said that something remarkable occurred when the right type of pressure was applied to fascia while stretching. A polarization of the positive and negative poles was generated, and a reaction called piezoelectricity was created. The current of electromagnetic energy would converge in fascia channels that were in line with the acupuncture meridians, which was discovered nearly 4,000 years ago. In essence, science was trying to catch up and validate what Chinese medicine had known for over 4,000 years. Dr. Becker concluded that the fascia network is indeed an intelligent organ of communication. He also believed that it was the liquid crystals in the fascia that created this chi effect. So there are some scientists who've been studying this. Another important scientist studying this was James L. Oshman in the Energy Medicine and Therapeutic and Human Performance. And he believed that fascia is the pathway which the energy stream of chi travels. He was one of the first scientists to hold up this theory. So we're giving you a general overall picture of fascia and energy or chi traveling through the body. Now we need to go a little bit deeper into how we block the energy field from flowing. So we talked about fitness, we talked about manual labor, how it hardens the body and degrades the fascia, allowing the chi to stop flowing. Also injuries that never get taken care of. When you have an injury like a sprained ankle when you're 10 and you never take care of it, the fascia fuses together and it hardens and it dries out and it petrifies and you lose your ability for chi to flow through it. There's no chi flowing through it. It's blocked, it's hardened. And over time that creates all kinds of complications. There's also things we do that in society, we don't ask the question, is it safe? And so one of the things is tattoos. Tattoos block the flow of chi. So I'm taking my information from Dr. Robert Marshall. He created a system called quantum reflex analysis, and he called them interference fields. Tattoo ink, well, first it has mercury and other metals in it, and that, people don't ask that question, should we be putting mercury in our body through tattoo ink? But when you put a tattoo on your body, you're blocking the flow of fascia energy, the chi, the life force, in and around, and in causing, or could possibly cause complications. I'll show you some pictures of case examples. So the question we need to ask is, are tattoos safe? And why are we blocking our chi flow deliberately? And here's the reference of Dr. Robert Marshall. He calls them interference fields. He's created a system called quantum reflex analysis. And this comes from Dr. Marshall, one of his case examples, a 50-year-old woman who has bilateral buttocks tattoos, and it causes all kinds of other issues in her body, including chronic fatigue, and all her organs are stressed out. And this is a 22-year-old male with an upper shoulder tattoo, and it's caused a stiff neck, and the whole side of his neck is stiff coming from that tattoo. This is a picture of a 40-year-old female with a tattoo on their right inner ankle causing kidney distress, which leads to tiredness and other kinds of kidney imbalances. Remember, if we can put a needle in the body, like an acupuncture, and change the fascia and chi network for the positive, when you put a tattoo on your body and block the chi flow, you're causing a negative consequences in the body. And this is the picture of an 86-year-old woman who had a C-section scar 55 years ago. It blocks 8 different meridians, reflexing downward, causing stiff, swollen legs, and all kinds of backup of lymph because of the scarring from the surgery done in her abdomen many years before. According to Dr. Marshall, somebody who's done this to his body is causing substantial blockages of chi. Many different meridians might be blocked, causing all kinds of other organ disturbances along the way. Now, most people think body art is cool and it's trendy, but no one's really asking what are the implications of blocking the chi flow in the fascia. And this is the picture that I drew in reference to a story from Dr. Marshall himself, how he says that vaccine scars cause interference fields. For example, in this case, a vaccine injection in the upper deltoid causes neck pain, wrist pain, and abdominal imbalances because it starts to block the chi flow through into the body. So this is according to Dr. Marshall's work on quantum reflex analysis. So as you can see from Dr. Marshall's work, tattoos, vaccines, other injuries, scars from surgeries cause blockages in the flow of chi because they scar the body and they block the flow of chi through the fascia. Now there's other ways that happens too. If you have an old injury, for example, in your shoulder, and now you've got limited flow through the arms because you never took care of that. Remember, in our medical world, medical people don't understand fascia, and they certainly don't understand chi or flow. So they're not going to address that. So you might have an old injury in your leg or your arm, and the fascia has fused together, and the chi literally stops flowing. It just stops flowing. It just goes, and then it hits a block point where it stops flowing because your fascia is bound together, glued together, and dried out. And so many people suffer from that because their fascia stops flowing, and the chi won't move through hard, dense fascia because it's never corrected. Here's a good example that happens to most people. This is called side angle pose. See how there's a straight line right in the body? As the fascia is opened and free and clear, and all the energy is traveling through it because there's no blockages. But this is what most people look like doing the same pose. Their arm won't straighten because they have blockages in their arm, either from vaccine scars or weight training injuries or other types of trauma, and they don't know how to correct it. So the chi stops flowing through their arm because they can't get a straight line of energy. This is a picture of energy flow by a book by Mark Rich called Energy Anatomy, how the flow of energy or chi is supposed to move up and down the legs and spine, out the head, out the arms. This is the ideal. This is how we're born. However, most of us lose that ability rather quickly. The energy stops flowing out the arms, stops flowing along the spine, gets congested, gets blocked, and it gets stagnant. So we lose our chi flow. This is the picture of a blocked arm chi. So the arm has an old injury to it that never gets taken care of. So the fascia gets hard, tight, brittle, dried out, and the chi won't run through it. So it's an energy blockages. And this is what happens to most people. They never take care of their fascia, so these blockages start happening. And here's a picture of somebody who's been in a bicycle accident 20, 30, 40 years later. This is how the chi got blocked in the shoulder. Never got fixed or released. And so he feels this kind of pain and agony every day because the chi is blocked, because the fascia in the injury pattern is dried out, hard, and glued together. So there's no way the chi or the life force energy can flow through the arm and shoulder. So as you can see, healthy fascia means healthy chi flow through the body. When your fascia is liquid, soft, and opened up, the chi flows, and that's life force getting to the bones, nutrients to the tissues or whatnot. When your fascia is hard, dried out, fused together, and brittle, the chi can't flow. You have energy cysts, you have blockages, and that causes all kinds of problems. So what's the best way to take care of our fascia? Well, a massage regularly is good, but that just works mostly on muscle and circulation. Fascia body work is one of the best ways because that focuses mostly on the fascia, but that does take time and multiple sessions. A regular yoga practice is the most important thing you can do. 3 to 5 days a week, regularly. You keep your fascia liquid, soft, fluid, and the chi starts to flow, and your energy enlivens, and all this life force keeps moving through your body. Also, you might have to have specialty work to correct old injuries, old car crashes, or sprained ankles. You have to enliven the fascia again, or else it's going to create a mass of fused together petrified tissue. So those are the best ways to keep your body healthy and keep your fascia alive. So remember, healthy fascia means healthy energy in your body, healthy chi, healthy life force. It's the battery of the body. The chi is the life battery of the body, and we've totally missed it for thousands of years. So in order to be healthy, in my opinion, you've got to keep your fascia healthy, and most people are doing mostly the wrong things. So thank you for watching this short video. If you'd like to learn more about me, visit my website at johnburras.com, or please subscribe to my channel here for more leading edge videos to come. Thank you.